Welcome to another enlightening podcast from Be Awake, Aware, Alive.com, where we question everything.
The link between cymatics, frequency, and Cathedral Windows. By the Be Awake, Aware, Alive team. Scatter a handful of fine powder across a flat, metallic disc, and then draw a bow across its edge. At first, the dust will simply bounce and jitter. But as the note stabilizes into a clear, unwavering tone, something remarkable happens. The chaos abruptly ceases. The particles rush together, locking into place along distinct, intersecting lines, forming crisp, geometric starscapes. This phenomenon, where acoustic vibrations impose physical order onto matter, is the domain of cymatics, a field that renders the invisible architecture of sound plainly visible to the human eye. Each distinct pitch generates a distinct geometry. A lower frequency might carve a simple circle, while a higher harmonic might splinter the field into complex hexagons, concentric rings, or radiating floral bursts. In essence, sound does not simply pass through physical space, it actively sculpts it, leaving behind a temporary blueprint of its vibrational signature. Now, step back in time and look upward inside any of the great Gothic basilicas scattered across Europe. There, embedded in the stonework of the eastern and western facades, hang the magnificent rose windows. Their radial stone mullions, layered petal-like structures, and intricate, repeating radial symmetry bear a startling visual kinship to those laboratory-born cymatic patterns. The question inevitably arises, is this connection merely aesthetic, or does it point to a deeper, shared principle? Geometry as a universal constant. It is easy to dismiss rose windows as mere decorative achievements, yet they are, in fact, rigorous mathematical treatises rendered in colored glass and limestone. The master masons of the 12th and 13th centuries operated within a cosmological framework that viewed geometry as divine language. They meticulously employed compass and straightedge to generate their designs, working from a handful of core geometric archetypes, the square, the circle, and the equilateral triangle. These are the same archetypal forms that spontaneously emerge in cymatic experiments. When sound waves interact with a medium, they are governed by standing wave patterns that naturally gravitate toward these primal shapes. The window makers, whether consciously aware of acoustic physics or not, were tapping into the same universal reservoir of natural order that dictates how vibrating plates organize sand. They were, in a very real sense, transcribing the harmonics of the cosmos into architectural features. The alchemy of light and resonance. But the connection between these windows and frequency extends beyond mere physical form. The glass itself acts as a transducer. When morning light pierces the heavily pigmented panes, it is not merely illuminating the interior, it is being diffracted, split, and refracted into a spectrum of colored frequencies. The resulting polychromatic light cast across the stone floors is not static, it shifts and hums with the solar cycle, changing the vibrational key of the interior space throughout the day. Furthermore, these structures were intentionally engineered as massive acoustic chambers. The thick stone walls, the high vaulted ceilings, and the large, perforated openings of the rose windows were meticulously balanced to control reverberation times. When choirs chanted or organs swelled, the resulting sonic frequencies would resonate within the space, bouncing off the very glass and stone that bore those geometric patterns. In this way, the architecture oscillated between two states, receiving light frequencies from the outside, and emitting sound frequencies from within. Constructing a vibrational sanctuary. Historically, the creators of these sanctuaries possessed an intuitive grasp of harmonic physics that we are only now beginning to quantify through the lens of cymatics. They understood that certain proportions could generate feelings of awe, humility, or transcendence. By aligning the dimensions of the nave, the thickness of the pillars, and the radial logic of the windows, they crafted an environment where the physical structure could sing along with the liturgy. The entire cathedral, viewed through this lens, becomes a massive, passive resonator. The rose window sits at the heart of this vibrational machine, not as a decorative afterthought, but as a focal point where the geometry of sight and the geometry of sound converge. They created a place where the faithful could literally stand at the intersection of resonating light and resonating stone, their own physiology entrained by the pervasive harmonies. A sobering historical perspective. It is important to interject a note of scholarly caution here. While the visual parallels between these windows and modern cymatic photographs are undeniably compelling, we must resist the urge to retroactively project modern laboratory techniques onto medieval construction sites. There is no archival blueprint, no surviving guild manuscript, that explicitly instructs a mason to replicate a clad knee plate pattern when cutting a tracery. What likely existed was a shared philosophical framework, a Neoplatonic and Pythagorean inheritance that regarded number, proportion, and harmony as the foundational pillars of reality. The Masons were not conducting acoustic experiments, they were faithfully executing a sacred tradition that sought to mirror the order of the heavens. The fact that this tradition produced shapes identical to those generated by frequency is a testament to the ubiquity of harmonic laws, not necessarily a testament to direct scientific borrowing. Echoes of a harmonic cosmos. Ultimately, Cymatics provides us with a modern validation of an ancient intuition. It shows us that the universe operates less like a random scattering of debris and more like a finely tuned symphony. The patterns we coax out of sand and water are the same patterns that govern the branching of trees, the spiral of galaxies, and yes, the radial petals of a Gothic window. The rose window endures as an emblem of this profound alignment. When we observe its luminous geometry, we are not just appreciating human craftsmanship, we are witnessing the crystallization of frequency itself, an audible frequency translated into visible light, frozen in time for centuries. The great cathedrals are, in their essence, the echoes of a primordial note made solid, reminding us that order, beauty, and resonance are inextricably woven into the very fabric of our reality. Learn more at beawakeawarealive.com.
Thanks for listening to another enlightening podcast from beawakeawarealive.com, where we question everything.